180.
Can't release
Hey, brother. Peace to you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, sir.
60 each. Is that what you're saying? Or 180 each?
How they treating you up there that way in Ohio?
It's becoming more and more violent every day.
Really?
I had an eye awakening. I woke up the other day, eye-opening experience. I had no idea. I'm detached from reality.
You detached from what's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because obviously just going a place, you don't really know the ins and outs, but when we visited you, it was really nice there, like where you live at.
Right. But
so it looked like a very nice, quiet neighborhood, nice homes.
yeah, but I started visiting other parts of the city, and now every day there was a girl got caught in the crossfire. I think it was yesterday in the south end of Columbus. Really? I'm like, this is not Chicago. So it's going everywhere now. So,
yeah. You she passed or she's
alive. They left the bullet in.
They had to leave the bullet in?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm just shocked. I'm shocked. That happens when your city starts growing, I guess.
So
Mr. Brown.
So Columbus is getting bigger.
Yes, we're Central Ohio is growing while the rest of the state is shrinking.
Say again?
Central Ohio is growing while the rest of the population in the state of Ohio is going down.
Now, is that because of tech or why is that?
Tech. The rest of the city, all the other cities were older, built through an industry. And we got tech here. Most of the state departments are here. OSU is here. Bell Labs. And they're building they're trying to build a high-tech corridor. All right, just north of campus, where they're trying to attract a whole lot of what do you call, I don't know, IT and develop,
Yeah.
Who else moved here?
Are these people coming from California? Where they coming from? All over or just?
I don't know where the shooters are coming from. But
no, I'm not talking about the shooters.
Right.
Y'all probably growing them. I'm talking about.
They built a hub. They got a hub for Facebook that they built just outside of Columbus. Thousands and thousands of square foot of just computer storage. And so there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
But, with the good comes some bad. So.
Yeah. Are they giving benefits?
When you say benefits?
I'm not talking about the jobs. I'm talking about because when you see, you look at places like Minnesota, Wisconsin, that gave certain benefits to people to come there. Were they doing that? Or is it just solely the IT stuff?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Y'all got the hood. I was in the hood when I was there.
Yeah, we went to, was it Linden, South Linden?
Yeah, I was like, this is look like home here. I was like, it looked like literally, it looked like they transported Gary to Columbus.
Right. That's everywhere.
Man, it's the hood.
Look, and that wasn't even the worst of it. There's some other areas worse. But
yeah, talking to the brother Deontay, he was telling me some stuff when he came to get baptized. I was like, I had no idea myself.
Yeah.
It sounded like I was like, brother, they got dope boys there like in the 90s. He's like, yes. He says,
I didn't know, bro. Like I said,
I'm like, where they do that at? He like Columbus. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Man, peace to everybody. How y'all doing?
Peace to you, brother.
Good to see y'all. My brother Tim eating a meal prep he made. Eating some good food. Brother Austin look like he about to graduate.
Yes, sir. I'm done. I'm done.
You finished?
Yes, sir. I got one more exam tomorrow.
Okay. Congrats, man.
Good.
Yeah,
Peace, family. How y'all doing?
Congratulations, peace, bro.
Brother Willie. Good.
Peace,
brother Willie.
How you treat you in Jersey?
Pretty good. I can't complain, man. The weather nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Peace to brother Josh, brother. Looking young and vibrant. Man, y'all brothers look young,
Peace to you,
man.
brother.
Y'all getting all this energy.
Peace to everybody.
Peace,
We need
family.
some of that.
Peace, peace.
Peace, bro.
Peace, brother. Khalil. How you doing, brother?
Not bad, not bad. Long drive.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Brother Isaiah, it's good to see you too, brother.
Hey, brother.
You at the house or you at work?
Yeah.
You at the house.
I'm at home. I'm trying to get them Thursdays and Wednesdays off. So
You need to get a Sabbath
spend-
though.
yeah,
That's the day. You can say I work every day except the Sabbath. That's the day you need off.
yeah.
That's the day. Real talk. What's up, brother Mo?
Peace, family. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, man. I can't complain, man.
You nervous, are you?
No, no. We actually having a good time. It's a wonderful experience, man. It's I can't put it in words, man.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Sleep while you can. Sleep while you can. No, that's a blessing. That's what you're supposed to do. Hey, y'all, that's what y'all supposed to be doing.
How's it going, brother?
Hey, brother Anthony.
bro,
Hey,
Ant.
Peace
how
to
you doing?
brother.
Man, no complaints here, man.
Good. Hey, I couldn't watch the whole video you sent me. I meant to tell you that. I could only watch half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, it wouldn't let me watch it. You need a subscription.
I'll send you my login.
No, but you ain't got it. Yeah, I wasn't trying to hit you up for a login like it's free cable. I know you pay for that.
All right. I mean, it's no big deal.
I saw almost half of it, and so you sent me that for a topic, or you sent me that just to consider was said.
Yeah, because that's kind of how we had met, and I didn't have anything to send to you at that time, so
Gotcha.
it came up again. I just sent that to you because kind of what I was thinking in the beginning was how is the thought pattern so far off? You know what I'm saying?
So different. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's something maybe we could deal with in a study, and we could deal with that topic one day on the show or the forum. Why it's different. We could deal with that in a study or like a question and answer.
Right. I just hate to see, because it's just little things like that that you'll see in modern Christianity or the Christianity that they say came by way of white men. That'll just cause separation.
Well, I mean, like I said, we could deal with that in a study, because even if you look at it, I mean, even in the Bible, you had people that was walking with Jesus. You had the apostles, they was going back and forth on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And had to come to certain had to come with this. I'm sorry, excuse me, who is this? Sorry about that. Yeah, so hold on one second. Okay, so I'm just looking, let's see. Yahuwah's child and Yahusha's follower said, we just moved here to Ohio and we're turning into our quiet neighborhood and almost run over by a high-speed chase down into a neighborhood that you can't get out of. That's not funny. Hopefully y'all will okay. Where y'all staying at in Ohio? Let's put that in the chat if you would, brother. Yeah, let me know where y'all at in Ohio. All right, and I'm gonna wait for that. And peace. Hey, I don't know if y'all see y'all probably can't see YouTube, but brother Tavion said, "Congrats, brother Austin."
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he said, "Congratulations." Don't congratulate him yet. He got one more exam. One more exam. No, I'm sorry. Hey, no, that's a great accomplishment, man. You was going through the honors program, right?
Yep. They gave me a little. I'm not going to the commencement on Saturday because of the Sabbath.
Right.
But I'm gonna go. They got a black grad tomorrow that I'm gonna go to.
They got a what?
A black grad.
What's a black grad?
So that's just the commencement for all the black students at the school.
So y'all practicing Jim Crow segregation at Aztec. Yo, Little Rock 9. What y'all?
They gave us the little kenta cloth for the stove.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go there real quick. My parents coming down to, see me and get that done. It's at 3 tomorrow, so it's before the Sabbath, so I'll be cool. So
yeah, no, that's a blessing, brother. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm done with it.
I know you are. Yeah. Now the fun begins. It's funny, man. It's funny, man. Kids, I wanna go away to school. Then you go to school. I can remember being like that. By my junior year, man, I was ready to go. You be ready, so be ready to go, and then you get out in this real world, like, oh. I be thinking like now, I be like, man, you know what? 1986 was a good year. 86, 87. I was about in the second grade. That was a good year. That was a good year, man. Hey, second grade, man. That was a good year. Hey, no worries.
Right.
Cereal, G.I. Joe. Hey, man.
That was a life.
That was good living. That was good living. All right. That being said, hey, peace to you, brother. Brother Wayman, I ain't see you down there. It's good to see you. I see your face now. How you doing? Uh-oh, he muted.
Yeah.
Let's get this out the way now. How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Good. I'm doing good. You always have me mute. You always have me to mute my phone. So I just keep it off. That's where I can make all kind of noises back here too.
Yeah, then. Go ahead and
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you now. I hear you now.
Hear me now? Okay.
Hey, where's Reynolds?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead back and go back and mute.
Go back to mute, huh?
Reynoldsburg is east.
It's east. How far?
Columbus. Oh, I would say a good 30, maybe, depending on the traffic. The traffic's heavy out that way. That area just built up in the last, say real heavy in the last 10 years.
Okay.
It exploded, like.
Really?
Yeah.
So how's the place to be? Who knew?
Well,
for IT, stuff like that. How far is that from Columbus?
I'm gonna say they're about 30 minutes away.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Straight up 70.
Look, man, if y'all in the area, I mean,
right, somebody else to get a hold of.
Somebody else could. That's what we're trying to do in these areas. You're in the area, hey, we can congregate together, brother.
Right,
brothers. Here, same thing with you, brothers in the ATL. You know, I know we got a couple brothers in Jersey, so that's what we need to do. Josh, and you in Indianapolis yet?
Yes, sir.
So we had a meeting. Me and Austin had a meeting for the people in Indianapolis, and me and Austin, who were the only ones up in there, and it was I know I contacted people that was like, hey, we're gonna have a Zoom meeting. So if y'all want a congregation in the place,
that's what I'm saying.
you gotta let me know.
And they should see if they'll send you an email.
I sent them emails.
No, I meant the people from Reynoldsburg. Just contacted you.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna put the email. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the chat right now, and then we can get started. They can contact me. if y'all interested in because we got a couple brothers and sisters out there. I'm gonna put the information in the chat. And
It'd be good to have
let me know something. Let me know something. If you wherever you at, like if you in a certain place, let me know if you're trying to get something going. Because that's how it started. It had to be people want to what people want to do, really, they want to go somewhere and just sit down. But that's not how things get started. You know, you actually have to do some work. People don't want to do that, they're allergic. You're allergic, they start sneezing, they get itchy eyes and their skin start itching when they think about work. That's how stuff get built, man.
Because I just talked to
This is nice. It got air conditioning, man. Somebody had to grind to get that done.
Yeah, we was gonna try to get a library spot again. So I was just talking to Deontay about that, so that we can invite other people and we'd have like a better location, because we just meet in my house right now.
Yeah, if you got a certain number, we talked about a number. I come down. I can come down there. Definitely in the summer.
Okay.
You know, just drive down there a few times and get it going.
All right.
Yeah. That being said, the topic for tonight. I'm gonna say that. Well, never mind. I'll say that for later. Topic for tonight is divorce. And what made me think about this is every tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, man, love to hate Bill Gates and Melinda Gates.
Yes, sir.
Man trying to block out the sun, but can't keep his wife. So, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at her, I'm looking at him. I mean, they up in age. And I'm gonna read something from an article, and I just want to get y'all brothers feedback on this article. And I was kind of taken aback by some of the things that I read in this article that I was not aware of. So here it is. This is from Market Watch. This was published today. Okay, and it's titled, matter of fact, I'm gonna share my screen. How about that? Maybe I could try that. Let's see if I share it. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Can y'all see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The divorce of Bill and Melinda Gates will grab attention, but there are some things everyone should know about ending a long marriage. You say they just look disgusted with each other. It says Bill and Melinda Gates, known around the world as tech and charitable titans, are splitting after 27 years of marriage at the ages of 65 and 56 respectively. Now she filed for divorce, okay? Divorcing at an older age has become increasingly common. This phenomenon called gray divorce. Has anybody heard of this?
No.
Could be the result of a few factors, including the lessening of a stigma around divorce in general, longer life expectancies, and differing opinions on what to do with the rest of one's life. So I guess they look at each other and say, I don't want to be with you. The divorce rate for Americans 50 and older has doubled since the 1990s, while 25 to 39-year-olds have seen a decline in the divorce rate. They can't afford to get divorced. And 40 through 49-year-olds have seen an increase of 14%. So over 50 is double, according to Pew. Divorce is a major life-changing event from a personal as well as a financial standpoint, irrespective of net worth, says Eva Victor, Senior Vice President and Director of Wealth Planning at a financial firm. For people in their 50s and 60s, it can have even more significant of an impact, as some individuals may longer be in their working years with earned income. Bill Gates is the founder of Microsoft, and the couple is more recently known for their philanthropic work through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Splits like this garner attention because of the big names involved and the billions of dollars at stake. There was no prenuptial, by the way, but don't reflect what the dissolution of a marriage means for most people. In 2019, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, now 57, and Mackenzie Scott, now 51, divorced after 26 years of marriage. And after everything was divided, the parties remained among the richest people in the world. This is not typical. A divorce is often financially devastating for a family, especially women. I mean, at the older ages, I was gonna add, because in general, men get hit with divorce harder. While a divorce may give both spouses more freedom, but there is still plenty to consider financially when in the midst of this process. Many couples, especially when they have been together as long as the Gates, have much of their money commingled. Having those assets, certainly the ones earmarked for retirement, could be detrimental to either party's future financial stability. There are other factors to weigh as well, such as who gets the family home, what income they can expect for the foreseeable future, and if their expenses will overshadow that income. The consequences could be dire. The poverty level for people who divorced later in life was around 19%, according to a 2016 study from Bowling Green University, compared to 1 to 3% for married seniors and 13% for widowed seniors. Even without reaching these levels, however, newly divorced people may feel unsure of their financial future in the aftermath of their divorce. Okay, so I saw that, and there's one other thing that I wanted to read. Let me find it, and I'm gonna get your brother's feedback on it. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is right here. This right here, I was like, I knew it was bad, but I was like, okay, let's just put something on your mind. This is an article from the Whitley law firm from February 2020. 3 reasons why women initiate divorce more often than men. It says numerous studies have shown this. In fact, throughout generations, a common stereotype has been that women are usually the one in a relationship who want to get married. Whether accepted or not, there's one fact that cannot be disputed, and that is that women initiate divorce more often than men on average. Numerous studies have shown this. In fact, nearly 70% of divorces are initiated by women. This is according to a 2015 research study conducted by the ASA, American Sociological Association, which suggests 2/3 of all divorces are initiated by women. Listen to this. Among college-educated women, this number jumps up to 90%. And then they go into these reasons that all blame men for the marriage dissolving. The women feel held back. Women are often take on more of the emotional burden. Women are no longer tolerate consistent, unacceptable behavior from men. So it was all blaming men. There was nothing the woman did that was wrong in any of this. But I just saw that, and I started to think. I said maybe this will be a topic for tonight, and I want to pick your brains. Anybody want to comment on any of that, for whether it be the fact of divorce or divorce in general? We can wherever you want to go, that's where we'll go. Anybody have any thoughts?
I'll go.
Go ahead, brother.
Well, looking at those numbers, they said 50% about those people that were in the gray divorce area. It seemed like at that age that they were sitting around waiting for like children to grow up. Yeah. And you could tell that it was just like the ages were getting younger because it seemed like the parents were getting younger. And as the parents are getting younger, the children are growing faster, and then they jump out and get a divorce, and most men, as you can see, we're not trying to get a divorce right out the jump. We already know we're going to eat the tail end of that. So yeah, according to that study and the way it looks, it just looked like men understand that this is a losing it's a double-edged sword in a way, because, you know, if we doing this biblically, we have to be married to, you know, be intimate with our wives and whatever. But being that we're so far removed from the truth and we're doing it in the Western style, or the way that they have set it up, no one's really going into it with the whole mindset of, you know, really doing it correctly. So it's like, get what I could get. And, you know, if I don't like him, I could get a divorce, take half of what he make, and keep it moving. So that's what I was looking at with those numbers, that chart. It seemed accurate. Just thinking about, you know, some fathers just waiting for the mothers just waiting for those kids to, you know, be old enough, or the father's not getting a divorce because he don't want to go into that child support. Wait till it's over. Deal with the alimony.
That's a whole nother topic, brother. I learned some stuff about child support that recently that I had no idea about. I couldn't believe some of the stuff I was hearing and looking at, but that could be another. That's a whole nother topic in and of itself. So that's a good point. Yeah, you seem like that'd be one of the main reasons people waiting for the kids to grow up. Anybody else want to add or have something to say?
I know a lot of guys they got divorced, and a lot of it was initiated by the wives, like the stats say. A lot of the women that I know in my family, they seem to be like dominant. And they still initiate the divorce. So I'm gonna leave it to confusion. These numbers that you're mentioning, because for whatever reason, these women have been they're saying that they're unhappy, and you see they just millions of reasons. I'm trying to understand what did they think when they were getting married? You know, I really wonder. It's not a picnic. You know, that's when all the work begins. When you get married, you know. So yeah, I think they've been raised on fantasy so long that they actually think that's it. Because I used to have that as my wife. I can't read your mind. Just tell me, and I can do it. But I'm supposed to know. So you know, I can't do that. You have to tell me. Yeah, and I'll do it if I can. You know? It's
one of those things. Marriage is one of those things. It's like you have two people, you're gonna have conflict. Right. I don't care who the two people are. At a certain point, you're gonna have some conflict. So you have two people who don't think the same way. You have two people come together, and everything is about, you know, it's a lot of compromise that has to go on just to dwell with another individual, in any way. And so, yeah. And then you talk, like you said, confusion. What were they thinking? It's like, I don't think people I know people don't go into marriage realizing what they're getting themselves into. Okay. They don't have a clue. And that's why I think it's important for, like, especially in a word, I think it's important if you're considering marriage I believe you should get counseling. I think you should get counseling, and I think you should like sit down in a room. My idea of counsel, obviously, biblically, you can get it from your pastor or minister, Moray, whoever you're up under, but also getting the perspective of people who have been married a short while, been in it about 10 to 15 years, and somebody who's been in it like 40, just to see the stories that they could tell you, you know? And I think that's important. I know people don't get into it with that understanding. And then, quite frankly, you actually need to be a wife before you get married. Like, you already got to be a wife. Like, you already got, so if if you're not a wife already, then it's not going to be good. You're going to have some problems. You're going to have some problems. Anybody want to weigh in? Anybody personal experience they don't mind sharing, or anything, any advice?
Yeah, I'll speak.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I agree with everybody. You know, like Brother Elbert said, it seemed like confusion plays a big part in that. When I met my wife, like you said, Elisha, she was already a wife. Not only is she physically beautiful, but her mind is. She's very loyal. She's very honest. She's very dependable. She's very sanitary. She's very modest. she tells the truth. She has a lot of high qualities that I met, and herself and my parents, they were together for like, my parents still together. Her parents were together all the way through her childhood until she became a woman. And so when me and her decided to get married, we both knew that it was a commitment, it was a balance, it was discipline involved, it was integrity, honesty. Like, we went into it that way. But I noticed that most of these people who these women getting the divorces on their men, it seems like they got married for the wrong reason. And then being here in America, a lot of it is a money grab, in my opinion. It seemed like if you married to a person that is successful, you know, if they find something else that they want or they get bored with that dude, they out, they gone. Not to justify men's behavior, because men do it too, but looking at the numbers, it's like 70%, that's more than half. So it seems like a lot of them have something in common. And if you watch television and you watch the media, it's like an agenda they're pushing with that. If you look at the relationships, you look at the way that they converse with one another, it's not much self-respect. So how are they gonna respect their spouse? So it's almost like it's almost like a bomb waiting to go off. So it's kind of difficult to even get involved with somebody and make a long-term commitment. Why not just deal with yourself first? And if you say you're a God-fearing person, try to understand the principles of what the Most High says in order for you to advance as a spouse, because that's the start. If we're not putting the word in our behavior, in our mentality, in our spirit, and trying to live accordingly, it's not going to work. So, it's a lot of hiccups in people, but we need to work on ourselves first, and that'll make a big, big difference.
Okay. No, that's an excellent point you made, brother. I'm just trying to read in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, how can you marry a woman without a marriage license? And well, a marriage license doesn't necessarily make you rather, let me say this. You don't necessarily need a marriage license to be married. Okay. Marriage is a covenant that two people make with each other. And that can happen in a number of ways. It's not necessarily Adam and Eve didn't have a marriage license. And quite frankly, a marriage license, that's a multi-party covenant, where it's you, your man, your wife, the state. The state is involved, and actually the state is over that marriage. Okay. And that's why when you find out who's in charge once you go to divorce court. Okay, which is a racket, just like child support court is a racket. The brother mentioned money grab. Quite frankly, when it comes to men, the way in which the courts operate, I cannot in good conscience necessarily, you do what you want now, but if I was counseling a man, I wouldn't necessarily say you need to get a marriage license. But again, people have to make that decision. It's not a sin to get a marriage license. Quite frankly, I'm gonna say this: marrying today, I liken it to jumping out of a 2-story window onto a mattress with rusty springs sticking out of it. You might be okay. You might be okay. But what I've seen, you might not. You know what I'm saying? So that decision, and that's another thing. Divorce happens, but what happens before that divorce? There's certain qualities, like the brother was talking about qualities of his wife. It's certain qualities that an individual has to have before you even consider marrying that person. That's man or woman. And then when you think about the roles that you have to play within that union, if you plan the roles properly, you have to really consider who you're marrying. Like if you're a woman marrying a man, if you're gonna do this biblically, according to what thus said the Lord, that's your Lord. So it's like you choosing a boss. What kind of boss you want? You want a boss that's lazy, don't go to work? Or you want a boss that you know is going to be a good father, that you know is going to be a husband? You may not necessarily agree with what he says, but you know he's not gonna do anything detrimental to you or the family. He's not going upside your head and you saying, I think he's gonna be a good husband. No, that's not wise. And just on the other end, a woman needs to have certain qualities. So I think one thing about divorce, people are marrying for the wrong reasons. I think there's such an imbalance with power in American society, and women have so much power because again, they are divorcing men as if they have the power, and they do.
Mhm.
If you look at the courts and what happens when you go into the court. So yeah, man, that's a thing. So I can't in good conscience necessarily tell them, hey, you better go get a marriage license because I know. But then again, with that, there's a downside to everything. Because let you deal with the wrong man with no marriage license to see how you get treated. But then again, I've seen people with marriage licenses and their situation is hellish. You see what I'm saying? So it's not the license, it's the individual. It's the individuals that are going into this union together. That's what you need to focus on. And so if you know, but you don't necessarily need a license. You could have a ceremony, you could have, you know, a covenant. You know, it's a lot of people that are married and are not, that don't have a license and function properly and in righteousness. And there are a lot of people with a marriage license that are not functioning as husband and wife. There's a lot of people walking around with titles,
Right.
with no works in that. That's my wife, but not functioning as a wife. That's the husband, but he's not doing anything that a husband should do. So again, it's about the individuals, you know. But even the idea, I need a license to get married. Are you a free individual or not? You know what I'm saying? And you think of the history of why they had marriage licenses in the first place. Because initially that was not something that the state got involved in. Some would say that has something to do with preventing miscegenation. That's a school word. That means white and black folks coming together to have babies.
Mhm.
They didn't want that. So, you know, it's something, you know, to think about that loving case, but that's just something to think about, you know. But yeah, I can't in good conscience with seeing what I've seen, not personally, like in my own life, but in people that I know. I can't, particularly men, I can't advise you to do that. My advice to you is make sure you better tread lightly, carefully, and make sure
Me,
you're choosing the right one. Go ahead, brother.
me and my wife have been together for many years. We don't have a marriage license, and me and her both agree we don't want one. We see what the state is doing and how the government operate. We good. We straight.
Yeah.
We get along just fine. You know.
And you can't say that that's not his wife. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And you know, that comes again, that takes a lot of trust, but you got to know the individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So that's just something. Let me go back to this chat real quick. Hold on, let's see. People agree with everything. Okay, without, I don't know, I'm not sure what that means, the tribe of Judah. Maybe you can expound on that. Did anybody else want to add? Anybody?
I'll add something.
Hey, brother.
I'll add something if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think from what I've seen, women have a tendency to wait to the last minute to let men know something is wrong. And they'll hit you with, like the brother Albert said, well, you should have known. You know, I'm not a mind reader. If you had just told me from the first place, I can correct, you know, whatever you found an issue with, and then we can go from there. But from what I've seen, women have a common tendency to wait until the last minute to say something. And then they're already, you know, they're well over fed up at that point. And at that point, there's nothing the man could do. And unfortunately, a lot of people in my career field, I think the divorce rate for the military is like 70 or 80% or something like that. It's
Brother,
stupid.
I've heard some horror stories from brothers in the military, people in the military.
It's stupid high. And that's because, and from what I've seen, and I think most of my friends are divorced, the women wait to the last minute to say something, or they'll do something damage, they'll do something to destroy the marriage, and then say, well, this is what made me go out and do this. And the husband's like, well, you should have said something. There's nothing I can do now that you went out and tricked around. And now you want to tell me what's wrong after the damage is done. I'm not taking you back after that. And the other thing is, I think, especially with people like born after the 90s, marriage is kind of just like in, elementary or middle school, the write on the paper note, will you be my boyfriend? Will you be my girlfriend type stuff. That's really what it seems like to me. Because
it's a game. Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Yep. It seems exactly like that. And nothing in and I think about it, nothing in society really teaches you about what marriage really is. Even the church should say you need to be a good husband, you need to be a good wife, you both got to have faith in God. But as far as the intricacies of what it takes to play your role, because regardless of what people like to think, everybody has a role. Even, let's say you ride in a garbage truck, everybody has their role. I don't know what makes people think people in marriages don't have their roles. But yeah, I think they just, not only do people not take it serious, there's no guidance behind it anymore for obvious reasons. We know why that is, because of the way the world's going. But I think, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And you think back in the day, like my grandparents were married 66 years. You think back in the day, I think, there was a much more, because of the dynamics between men and women, and what men were bringing as far as resources and what women were bringing as far as bearing children, domestic duties, and so forth. There was a power, it was balance. Things are so imbalanced. It's like you come into a situation, I don't need you. You see what I'm saying? You have even women like, well, I want to have children. I'll just have children with you. And I don't want you in their life. I'll just have these children with you. It's crazy out here.
Yeah.
So if you can go into a situation and you're not needing the other person, then it's very easy to leave the other person. And that's what actually feminism has done in American society, in the Western world. It has destroyed the power dynamics between men and women. That power dynamic, what looked like imbalance, actually brought balance. And what you have today is no balance. You have it now. It's like it's totally distorted. So
yeah, what cracks me up is I can do bad all by myself, but on the other side of the token, they'll be like, dang, I can't keep a man. What's going on here?
Yeah,
it's got to be them. It can't be me.
No, it's you. No, I'm serious. It is. You passing, like, even wasting years, even not marrying somebody as a young person when you should have. You looking over the guy you should have married, end up late in life by yourself. With all this baggage. That's you. It is you. And that's a problem. And I was reading, just on a side note, just crazy stories out of the military. That's just crazy. People going off, being deployed, coming back, wife pregnant, all that kind of stuff. But then, I was reading also, a lot of these guys that are getting these divorces, they're just blindsided. They had no idea.
Yep.
They are blindsided by the divorce.
I think most of my friends have been blindsided by the divorce.
Yeah.
Or blindsided by other things that happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. I had, I'm not gonna say who, but I had some very relative that was, he married into his wife. These relatives just told me she wants a divorce, and I could not believe it, because I'm like, yeah, they 70, I'm pushing 70, and I'm thinking in my head, now he can go out and he can put on his gaiters. He's still fresh. He can put on some gaiters. He can dress how he dressed, and he can get a woman half your age. Why are you going to divorce this man? You can't go out and do the same. Trust me. you're fortunate. When so many can't get married, you should stay. You should reconsider. Because this is the end of the line. Like, what are you thinking? This man will put you gotta they ain't like a ranch. I mean, they got a huge crib. Like, what are you driving a Genesis? Like, what are you doing?
I think it's the expectations, the lack of the lack of realistic expectations and truly knowing what marriage is about. Because I mean, it's not gonna. I think a lot of women go in expecting the Cinderella lifestyle. When Cinderella's movie cut off after she gets married, you don't know what goes on after that.
You don't know what happened after that.
No. So and they expect things to be peachy and perfect throughout, the let's say 60 plus years of marriage, but in reality, who wants things to be perfect all the time?
I mean, perfect wouldn't be bad, but it's not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
What's that, brother? What he said? What you say?
I would be okay if it was perfect.
I got a problem with perfect.
Right.
I know that's right.
Leave it to be, but whatever. I ain't got no problem. Nah, but yeah. Anybody else have anything on that?
Quick. A lot of times women expect their husbands to make them happy all the time. They thought that marriage would complete them. Instead of having their own hobbies and activities, things to focus on, they always look for that mate to fill whatever that empty void is. And he can't. If they don't have it in them, it ain't gonna happen. So,
yeah.
All right.
I agree. I mean, with happiness, it's like I don't think people understand that. Like, if you're not happy, nobody there can make you happy.
Yeah.
Right.
That has to come from within. Like, I look at that biblically, and I look at, what Paul said, contentment. Because happy and sad is this 1 minute something can happen, then the next minute, you're happy, the next minute you sad. No. But if you are depressed, it's not like a person can end that. You have to, that's something going on internally with you. That's like somebody trying to make you not sick. Like, I'm gonna be with you, so I'm not sick, so I don't have the flu. No, you better, that's your immune system got to fight. You can't look to people to make you happy. That has to come from within. And I say I look for contentment, being content, because life is full of challenges. And so, happiness is relative. Anybody else have it? That's a good point you made, brother. All the brothers.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with maturity, and because when you make a commitment, if you're not mature enough to keep the commitment. I've been married twice. My first marriage, the way I was sizing it up, it was like I was putting together a business merger, and I just wasn't really. I always had second thoughts about me being attracted to her, But as far as everything that I thought was important at the time, I was trying to build my career and stuff like that. So I was putting it together that way, but I wasn't attracted to it enough to make me, I guess, crave her. I see other women all the time. I want to do that, and I just really got tired of being what I considered at that time a cheater. So I just went ahead and got a divorce. And I thought I would not get married unless I was attracted to the woman after that. But I know now that it was more about me just being mature. I wasn't mature enough. So, I think it takes a lot of maturity when you go into covenant with someone else, just like you guys have spoken about. So I think that's really important.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm a brother. I understand. One thing about that, I think that does come with maturity. Realize, because for me, I think what's attractive to me is loyalty. I put that like, I mean, I understand like physical attractiveness has its place, but I think about in the duration of a person's life, if this is indeed someone you're going to be with, then, I look at it, I'm saying, well, are you still attractive at 70? Physically attractive? It has to be something with varicose veins and a turkey neck and this meat right here. I mean, it had to be it has to be something, the man going bald, it has to be something more. So yeah, that's what attracts me, character, man. You got character, because that's, to me, like I said, that Proverbs 31, that's rare, man. To me, that's what I look at. That's, man. And you don't see that around too often. Let me go. I got news that something's going on in the chat. Let's see. Okay, so Donovan Ben Judah said it's highly, he put all caps, foolish not to have a marriage license. It's legal protection. If something were to happen to either person, a parent can step in and the other partner has no legal say so. Okay, so Romans 13 says we need marriage licenses. No, it doesn't. So this is a prime example of somebody who don't have a clue what they're talking about, but they running their mouth or typing. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. First of all, no, hey, let me help you out. I'm gonna just go ahead and remove you. How about that? that might be easier than dealing with your foolishness.
Hey,
yeah.
Did you have a point on that one side though? On
what's that, brother?
Did he have a point on about you not having actual legal rights on some stuff?
He don't know what you're talking about. So
yeah, I don't.
Yeah. You're talking about highly foolish. We just read marriage license statistics. we read all these men getting these divorces, or these divorces are initiated by women. And if you talk to men who have been divorced, you know what happens in divorce court.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You go in there and you go in with a shirt and you walk out without one.
Okay. You owe her some more shirts.
You owe her some more shirts and some shoes.
For example, I got an example.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Let me and Romans 13 does not say that. Okay, because marriage is more than a marriage license. It doesn't even necessarily have to do with the marriage license. It's the covenant between two people and God. Yes. That's a relatively new thing. So you should ask yourself the question, were they doing that in Paul's day? Did they have a license to get married when he wrote it in the 1st century? That's what I'm saying, man. What is the United Negro College Fund say? A mind is a terrible thing to waste. If you don't know what you're talking about, maybe you shouldn't be talking. I could play that too. You call somebody foolish, I could play that too. But I just put it to you being ignorant. Go ahead, dislike the video. And what was you saying now, Brother Khalil?
I got a buddy, real good friend. He was in the military too. His wife cheated on record 13 times.
Uh-oh.
And I think I'm echoing.
Yeah, you echoing. Go ahead, 13 and what?
13 times. And he's been paying, he obviously he hasn't cheated, and he was supporting her and his ex-wife and his child. They're divorced now. He's paying her, I think, $800 a month, and she hasn't had a job since I joined the military in 2014. She still doesn't have a job to this day.
Why she need a job? She got him.
Not no more, but she's living off of his military paycheck.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So
is she gonna get his pension too?
We'll see.
A lot of women, they can get that pension when they get divorced too. They're talking about a marriage license, and these men get destroyed, and of course, living in their mother's basement. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
It's even worse if you see most of these women now who are gunning for that man making that money to make babies. Like that's the
Yup.
goal. That's a game in itself. Let me go and make babies with this rich man. Peace on out of here with some of this money forever. That's how they're looking at this. This is security for them.
Man, I saw, like I said, that's a whole, man, we got to say that for another time. Because the stuff I was looking at, man, I saw a guy, he got put on child support and he was living with the woman, paying bills. And she said, well, I need the money. Like, how you put somebody on child support and they in a house taking care of the kids? I saw a man get put on child support, what never slept with the woman and was about to go to jail.
He was taking care of the family?
No.
Oh.
No. But that happens too. I know what you're talking about. No, this man just, she was trying to get some public assistance and he needed a name and she just put his name on there. He was facing jail time.
They come for him. Yeah.
Did you see the incident where the woman got divorced from her husband and she hated him so much he had lost his job because he got hurt on the job. She found out that he lost his job, raised his child support exactly when he lost, well, I think like 3 days after he lost his job while he was in the hospital. And then as soon as he got out of the hospital, he had to go to jail.
See, no, I hadn't heard that, but I'm not surprised because it's a racket. So when you talk about what foolish is, listen to some of these stories. Listen to some, I know people personally, things that happen. I got a neighbor, things that happen to him. I know people in my family, there's things that have happened to men. So when you talk about what foolish is and protection, and you a man, unless you a woman named Donovan. That's what I'm saying, man. People think because they got fingers, they should type. And that's because you can read, you should read the foolishness that they type. Nah, you don't know what you're talking about. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I have something.
Go ahead, brother.
Grace and peace, everyone.
Peace, bro.
Brother, you know the first thing. I'm gonna categorize Western woman. I'm gonna say Western woman. One of the first thing is that when you're married to a woman, she has two husbands, right? The system and you. Unfortunate.
Got three, but go ahead.
Yeah, unfortunately, right? The male factors have no cushions to fall back on. She has it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the next point I kind of write down my points, right? There's a lacking of fear of God. Women now having sex early, they run up the mileage and they expect good men. And I know I probably might get a backlash from this. They expect good men, right? Men who good in their heart to take care of their luggage, right? Their problems, their broken hearts from previous imprintment, right? And when they can't get it, you have nothing to fall back on, right? My other point is, right? They don't know roles. They don't know their roles. It was established since in Genesis, right? And the women, they do not know their roles in the family or in their relationship with a man. Okay? Sometimes I ask myself, what will happen when Christ comes and these ladies gonna go up to him and say, yo, you know, I went to Harvard and all this stuff. I don't believe you the Christ. These things play out in my head. Right? And
He said, oh, you went to Harvard. He said, I went to Harvard. I don't believe in Christ. That was funny. Go ahead.
Right? It's like no one, not a soul, is telling them the consequences. What the consequences of divorce, how deep divorce, leaving your husband, that breaking that agreement between you and God and your husband. You understand? And this is what I see today. And if we don't have an insurgency and stop this, man, it's trouble.
You know, you may. Were you finished, brother?
Yeah.
Sure? I didn't mean. I thought you were still. I was gonna say something, but I don't want to cut you off. You still talking?
No, bro, go ahead. You know, I could still bring up
Go ahead.
one of the problems I have, you know, and it's coming from the word, knowing now the word has shine a light on who I am and who people should be, right? Is that I have problems with women who going around and having sex early, right? I work with Easterners at work, guys from Bangladesh and all that. And this guy waited for his mother and father to choose a woman from a family in their village. And it was shock and awe to me, right? That I have to go around and I have to find somebody whose personality, whose family tree I don't know, whose reputation I don't know, and say, I love you, I want to marry you, I want to make kids with you. And then we work together, we perhaps build together, and 10, 30, how much years? Whatever social media, whatever TV program that influence you, or whatever, wherever you learn these things, you change, you part man, part woman now. So you decide you don't want the real man in the house, so you don't divorce. So women who going around and sleeping with men from the 13 right up until whenever, and expect a decent man, and most men are decent men. Most men will sacrifice to their family once they have the right cover behind them, once they have the right person and the six. Most men will do it. Take care of their family. When you leave work with all that stress and you go home and you're getting stress from your woman, right? It's hard. Women have to understand that. You can't live in a house with part man, part woman, and you claiming to be a man. You have to be feminine. You have to be that soft part I come home. You have to be that part I want to protect. And it's not happening anymore. Right? Everybody have a voice now and a platform, and everybody they're super educated and everybody want to be rich, but nobody want to enhance their family by doing the right things. And this is the problem I'm seeing, right? And I didn't, to be honest, brother, I didn't know this. I didn't see this until I came into the word, and I have regrets now that I always say, if I had the opportunity, I graded that woman from a biblical perspective before I say I will go into a covenant with you. From a biblical perspective. If you don't come hardcore, following what Jesus said, well then, who am I? If you can't follow what he said, then you're supposed to be his helpmeet. Not part man, part woman. And you know, brother, that's my war right now. That's my thing. What my contribution tonight.
Well, that's a lot, brother. I was just writing down some of the things you said. You said she got 2 husbands. You said she married to you in the system. And I agree with you. I just look, if you saying the system is the state and her job, because usually it's a man on that job that she answered to. So she really got 3 husbands. She got a husband. Matter of fact, she might have 4, to be honest with you.
I didn't even
Tim
count
laughing.
that
let
job.
me tell you why. She got the state that's husband and daddy. She got the job, the man on the job usually that she's up under listening to, doing whatever he say without question. Then sometimes he sisters got a work husband.
Yep.
A husband, not necessarily that she's sleeping with, but that he's filling a particular void. And then she got you.
What about that? What about her kid? her older son that she brought into a relationship.
If she brought
with
into
you
her
two,
relationship and
that
you married her
she
with a child,
putting
she
him
got fired.
over you two. Yeah,
She got
it's a whole lot. Keep going.
She got fired. You right. You right. That's about 5 husbands. You are number 5. You're the last one. Yeah, that's how that goes. Like you talked about having sex early and then not, or expecting somebody to clean up all that back. Like Erica Badu said, bag lady, you're gonna bitch your butt. Like, who gonna help with all these bags? You expecting a man to do that. And let me say this, really, we could talk about women and what they should do and how they are, but until we change ourselves, nothing is going to change. And what I mean by that is we have to hold a higher standard. If we don't hold a higher standard, if we don't get ourselves together collectively, these women not going to listen. Why should? Like, they're not going to. We shouldn't even we shouldn't necessarily look for them to. And we should reward the ones that are doing what's right. See, right now, it's gonna sound bad. Hoes winning.
Facts.
It sounds terrible, doesn't it? It is the reality. They are winning, and they should not be winning. They winning because of part the society has set it up. Like, because what you're talking about is what I was talking about, balance. You know what I mean? What I mean. Like you say, you go to school, I'm educated. I don't believe this Jesus. Like, that's balance, because everything is so out of balance with men and women, and women have all the power. It show you. I always talk about abortion. People always say, why you always talk about abortion? I say it ain't being talked about enough. But if a man doesn't take care of his kids, they could take your passport, your CDL, they can garnish your wages, they could put you in jail.
They will.
And they will. Right? You can lose all that. I just saw in Utah, they just put this out. I saw this article today. Men are not paying their child support in Utah. They can't, Brother Wayman, they can't even fish.
Oh.
They taking away fishing and hunting licenses if you don't pay your child support.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying Brother Wayman because he is an avid fisher.
Right.
So, man, I'm just so. But
and I've had my passport taken away.
Oh, okay, hold that thought.
Child support.
Oh, hey, whoa. Stop the press. Hold on one second. Let me finish it, and then I got you. So if a woman don't take care of her kids or don't want to, she can put them up for adoption, or she can kill them. A man don't take care of his kids. He don't have no say. Not saying you should get an abortion anyway. He don't have no say in that. And if he don't take care of his kids, he can literally be put in prison or jail. Now, would you speak to what you just said? If you don't mind, bro.
Yeah, I know you've been trying to get me to talk all along on here.
Was it that obvious?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, man. But I've been wanting to talk anyway, but everybody's been jumping in and making very good points and saying a lot of things that I would have said. So I'm glad to hear everybody saying things that they're saying. I come with what you said, what you finished up with saying that responsibility ultimately falls upon men. We are the problem. I can say that in my life with the things that's going on in my life, the things that I have done, because I have not I have not played my position. I've not done what I needed to do. So my whole situation, everything that's happened in my life has been because of me. I made bad choices. If I had been the man that I know and understand that I need to be to the extent that I understand it, then I wouldn't be in the position I was in. I wouldn't have made the choices that I made. I would have done things different. But I was not informed. I didn't know. I didn't understand. It wasn't information that wasn't out there. So I just followed and did what everybody else was doing in the world. So we are the real problem. Certainly men are supposed to be the head. And all the things we're talking about that's going on in society, it's coming because we're not doing what we need to do. But that's one of the things that has happened to us from us losing our position as men, not having fulfilled God's will. So now we're sent into captivity. We're in this condition that we're in So whatever happens to us is only happening to us because of our lack, because we failed to obey the Most High. So everything we're going through, it's not as bad as it should be for what we've done. So we know we're not being punished to the extent that we should have been punished for what we've done. But certainly what we need to do now, we need to be thankful and turn around and get things right at whatever cost it is. Because we understand whatever child support we talk about that is to be put upon us, that's only happening because we made the choice. We chose this woman. We chose to involve ourselves in this system like this, instead of involving ourselves in what we should be doing according to the Most High and according to the things that we should be obeying and doing. We are, I'll say, I am the problem. I've always been the problem. I know I am the solution in terms of me turning and doing what I need to do according to the word. So I feel, and I've been divorced twice. Let me get that out there as well. One that I filed and one that was filed. I filed one and my wife filed one in another case. But I understand that I made these choices. I did things that were out of order. If I had done things in order, none of these things would be happening. I would have been playing my position. I would have made a choice. I would have made a better choice than the women that I chose. And I would have been in a better position with somebody who I know is a virtuous woman, someone who I don't have to worry about. Somebody who I can go to sleep and not have to worry about anything. But we are caught up in this system, and we can blame a lot of women in terms of the things that they do, but we're the head, and we are not being the head. At least I am not. I'm not being the head, and I'm trying to learn how to be the head so that I can stay out of these pits that I've been in, and I'm in one now. As to an extent, I'm going through one now. So we have got to recognize the real problem and then move forward from there. And I'm glad to hear that the brothers talk about how they're doing things. It's you're doing things better than I've been doing things and better than I did things. I'm happy to hear that you all have the understanding that you have to walk the way that you're walking. I'm happy for you. I'm just starting to walk the way, but I just turned 71. So I'm glad to be where I am and what I'm doing, but I would have liked to have been as conscious, as aware of what that walk should be at the ages that you all are. And I'm just happy at what age I am that I do have it and I can walk this way now.
Yeah.
I muted myself. All praises, brother. That was insightful. What you just said. I appreciate it. You said a couple things. I'm gonna put you on mute now. Hold on. You said we choose these women, right? We choose these women. You said I'd have had if I'd have done things different, I would have chose a virtuous woman. Like you can't choose these women based on what they look like. If we tighten up, they ain't got no choice. We ain't got to worry about what they do. If we tighten up rather, because they don't have a choice. If we stop rewarding bad behavior, if we do what we're supposed to do, like he was saying, being the head truly, and that's lost today. You also said something, you did something that men do, and you took accountability. Everything in society today, particularly when it comes to women, is not about them taking accountability. I saw a woman, she left her children in a motel, and the father of the children found out about it, called the police. Well, what happened? Everybody got on him, and they raised enough money for her to buy a house, like $130,000 or something like that. If that would have been him, he would have been incarcerated.
Mm.
Well, I'm saying that to say, so everything is about, oh, you done laid down with somebody, and now you're pregnant. Well, just go get an abortion. You know, no accountability. But you did something that men do. You took accountability. Men have to take accountability. That's what we had to do. Look at the problem square in the face and say, he said, I am the problem and I am the solution. That was a heck of a statement. Go ahead. You had something, brother, because you on mute. I see you got something.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I
you all
wanted
right.
to
Go ahead.
add. I wanted to add with something that you had said. That we are, when you mentioned something about the women would do what we want them to do, we just let them do whatever they want to do. But I have said, I mean, I'm sorry. No, you didn't say that, but I can't remember exactly what you said and how you said it. But what came to my mind was that men are influencing women to do what they're doing to an extent that allow them to do that. And I've said that if men only looked at women with afros, every woman around would be running around with an afro. But we're looking at these women with these weaves, with this all crazy color in their hair. We're looking at them. If we did not do that, and we got ourselves together, and all we looked at was women who was in their natural state, every woman around would be Caucasian women or Gentiles would be running around looking with afros.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, they would.
I don't know. I think it's to a point now they don't care.
No, they would.
The reason I say that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, especially as I was just simply saying that women across the board, because we have brothers, we have been the one that's been setting the standard as to what women should look like. That's why women are running around with, with injections in their butt and lips. The things that we desire in a woman, other women are copying it.
Watch this.
So
hold on. Watch
Yeah.
this 1 second. Okay, I got what? How many of us on here right now? 12? How many brothers on here? Raise your hand or put a thumbs up if you like weed. See, I would venture to say, hold on, I'm gonna mute you in 1 second, then I'm gonna let you respond. I would venture to say that the large majority of brothers don't like weave, but women wear it anyway. We're not the one that's pushing the standard of attractiveness or beauty in society. I don't think it's gotten to the point now to the power dynamic is so imbalanced that they don't care. I don't think they care what we want. I'm saying what I'm talking about, because what the statement that I said was they won't have a choice to tighten up, because in the long run they'll understand that they have to tighten up. But right now it's to the point, it's so bad, I don't think they even care. I don't think most women truly value or want to be married until they get older, until they have all these kids, until they had all this baggage, because their behavior is telling you that they don't. I'm saying we as men need to focus on ourselves, get ourselves together, do what's right, so that we can be husbands to the proper wife and fathers to legitimate children. Now go ahead. I just want to point that out, because that is logical what you said, but I've never heard a brother say, "Ooh, look at the weed." I've never heard that.
No, I agree with you. But what I am saying is this: if we allow it, we tolerate it.
We tolerate it. You're right.
We tolerate it. So I'm saying that if we did not tolerate that on any level, that's why I say if we only looked at women that have afros, that means they don't have weave. I'm just saying they have that natural hair. If we only tolerate those women, foolishness that they're going to be, they have foolishness, but they have an afro. So we're dealing with them in their foolishness, but they only have afros. So if we're only dealing with those women in their foolishness, the foolishness of weaves and all this other stuff, they will let that stuff go and deal with the foolishness that's going on with the women that have afros. They'll be out of the loop. And that's a problem that's coming from us. I'm simply saying that we're influencing the behavior of women by our acceptance on whatever level we accept it. And it's tolerating it at a very low level, but it's still being tolerated. We will still deal with the woman that have a weave in her hair. We will still deal with that. But if brothers didn't deal with someone that did that, then under any condition, I'm trying to come up with something that brothers, wouldn't be dealing with women if they was all cutting their hair off. If women was running around, they all cutting their hair off, brothers probably would have a difficult time to a large extent, although a lot of women are doing that. But I'm saying if overall, if women was doing that as much as they putting weaves and things in their hair and color, that wouldn't be something they would know that that's not something that we find attractive. A lot of men like women with long hair and are attracted to that. So those brothers would be turned off. I'm just simply saying we are not fulfilling our position as someone that women would want to submit themselves to or come up under. And as a result of that, they're behaving, doing the things that we know are not according to the word and what they should be doing, because women's behavior is coming back upon us. It's our fault. It's ultimately fall on us. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to say toleration and desire are very different. So I agree with you when you say, let me mute this, brother. I agree with you when you say that we are tolerating something, but like desiring and going after it in that regard, I don't think so. But I agree with you. We tolerate, like one of the main things we tolerate somebody coming in with somebody else's children. We tolerate, quite frankly, horse behavior. We tolerate immodesty. We should not tolerate these things. And that's why I said it would change. Like, well, I won't even get in the conversation I had with my mother just the other day. But well, basically I said I couldn't, well, never mind. I won't even say that. I'm gonna hold that on to that one. Brother Khalil and then Brother Austin, you got something?
Yeah, I guess it kind of goes along with, I guess, a combination of what everybody said. With me and my wife, we're fortunate enough to where we haven't been married that long, but we were able to come into the truth kind of early on into our marriage. And I find it's harder for somebody to fall off track when it comes to something that's not their heritage as opposed to something that is, right? Now that we are slowly getting into the truth of the book and getting into the word more and more, I'm finding out that, this book has a lot of my heritage in it, right? And it's going to tell me a lot of the things that I'm supposed to be doing. That's going to be a lot harder for me that would be a lot harder for anybody to shake than it would be, for something that's just given or told that, hey, this is what you are. There's no concrete foundation in that. It's like trying to get an actual, Arabic Muslim from Iraq to forsake his heritage. It's highly unlikely. And I think as more people I hope as more people start waking up and we start realizing that, hey, we actually have a heritage before slavery, and this is what it is, and this is our foundation. That you know what our ancestors were doing prior to this, and you know, I think they said in like during the times of slavery, nobody really got divorced. If it was very few people that actually like split up, and even soon after. So there was some remembrance and dignity back then, dignity, and what men and women were supposed to do, and having that ingrained in me and my wife, and then ingraining that in my children, which is, you know, going to be fortunate that I can raise them in this truth, and so on and so forth. Hopefully that creates a, I guess, domino effect.
Yeah. You talked about the heritage. That's one thing. We have inherited what we have as far as culturally on this side of the Atlantic. And so in the Western world, which is not about, it's immoral. So what the things I always call it, we as far as those of the diaspora, what we've experienced, we have adopted a death culture. But the Bible, I look at Torah, I look at the Bible as we should, from our marriage practices to what we eat to how we dress, everything, we should adopt our culture directly from Torah, directly from the law, statutes, and commandments. That's how we get culture, because we get in the culture from everything else. It's just not like God. And also, when you talk about divorce, you saw the divorce rate skyrocket when they implemented no-fault divorces, because initially it wasn't as easy to get a divorce. Another side note, out of slavery, more black children were born in wedlock percentage-wise than white children. So right after slavery, coming out of slavery, even in a system where they were doing everything they could to destroy and not to, when I say destroy marriages, by selling people's spouses, selling people's children, not actually acknowledging marriages between black folks during slavery. After slavery, 90% of black children were born in wedlock. That was higher than the white rate at that time. Currently, almost 80% are born outside of wedlock. That's something, again, that should not be tolerated. Brother Austin, you had something?
Sir, I was just gonna say that when people get a divorce, that they often don't consider what their kids gonna have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that, like we were talking about with Bill Gates and his wife, and how his wife was like, she that it may have been something on her mind to initiate divorce a long time ago before she actually did it. If that was on her mind, it's not like she telling her kids good things about their father. So I often see women, they turn their kids against their father, and so if she has that mindset where she gonna get a divorce, then them kids is not gonna be able to grow like they should. So,
but those kids are. What'd you say?
I said, especially after the divorce, because I see women, they often they throw their kids between in the middle of situations that they have with their spouse. So
yeah, unfortunately, they used as a tool to get money. They're used as a manipulation tool. A lot of that's unfortunate. And then I've seen men basically had to step back from a situation and let their kids find out at a later date what the real deal was. Yeah. That's unfortunate, but that happens. Something I read, and I was trying to find an article while you were talking. I think I may have closed it, but it was an interview with Melinda. She was talking about how she viewed things, and she basically said, we're equals. And I think that's a problem. Like I talked about the power dynamics and the imbalance. How you are equal to Bill Gates?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Y'all
crazy.
not equals. Even if he wasn't Bill Gates, if he was working at the post office, y'all still not equals. You see what I'm
Man,
saying?
part woman.
So if you look at yourself in that manner, it's very easy to separate yourself from your husband if you look at him like you're equal. What you say, brother Isaiah?
Oh, that I was just saying part man, part woman. So she
Yeah,
don't need the man anymore.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. She said, well, I'm his equal. Man, I don't think so. Because whatever you want to say about Bill Gates, I don't agree everything he come out with. I'm like, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. That man's a boss amongst bosses. I'm talking about on this earth. You realize that's one of the most trending things in China right now. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates being divorced, because that's his influence in that country.
Mhm.
Everybody on their computer doing something right now because of what Bill Gates put forth. Y'all not equals. You know what kind of mentality you have to build something like a Microsoft? You know what kind of mentality you got to have to build something like an Amazon? You know what kind of man you got to be? I ain't talking about righteousness. I'm talking about tenacity. Y'all not equals. You shouldn't even think of yourself that way. But anybody else have anything?
One harmful thing I noticed from this newer generation of people getting married, they're splitting the bills right down the middle.
50-50.
Only problem is that the men in these marriages that I know, the young ones, they making more, lots more than their wives. So I asked them, I said, hey man, why do y'all do it that way? You wanted to be partners. So he's treating them basically what she asked for. So now she hurting for money, but they're doing it. Their relationship is set up because that's the way she wanted. She wanted say and everything. So they split it 50-50.
Now, did you ever get from him or even from her or some kind of way why she wanted that?
Because that's how I did ask. And he said she wanted to be involved, she wanted to be partners. She wanted to be equal in the relationship. And so he said, let her be equal then, because I was trying to talk to him, say, maybe you should pay more of this, more of that. He said, nope, because that's how she wanted it. But it's starting to kill it. The money ain't the same now, so.
She wanted power.
Yeah.
She was afraid to relinquish power.
Yeah.
When a woman's position in a marriage is about submission. She didn't want to submit. And she felt that if she continued to or paid half despite it not making any sense, economic sense, she did it because she did not want to relinquish the power that she thinks she has. And she did not want it to submit. She don't want to be in a position to have to listen to him.
He asked for half the money when they go out to eat.
Say again, brother.
He asked for his half of the money when they go out to eat.
See, and he holding her to it.
Yeah.
He holding her to it. Is he hoping maybe that one that she'll break down and say, okay, I'm tired of this.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. But she don't want to submit to him.
I had saw a video today where these young couples, they was around my age, and one of them it was the boyfriend and a girlfriend, and the girlfriend was at some club or party or something like that. It was at like a school function, and I guess they danced to like some type of Caribbean music or something. But the dance that she was one of the guys who make the music, the Caribbean music, was there, and so the dance that she did automatically disqualified her from any type of marriage. But the boyfriend,
the funky chicken,
huh? No, it was crazy. It was crazy. But the boyfriend did an interview with what he called his girlfriend, and he was still with that girl after he had saw all of those. It was like 5 or 6 different camera angles of what was going on in that dance, and he still accepted this girl after she just did all of this disgusting these dances with this Caribbean dude.
Oh,
But,
she was doing it with the artist.
yeah, she was doing it with the artist. It wasn't her boyfriend. It was with the artist. Her boyfriend was on the sideline watching. And then after that, the boyfriend and her went on YouTube and made a video about that. And he was still with that girl. And he was explaining like, yeah, she had done that. It's not her first time doing something like that. This was just outrageous because of how many people was recording it at the time and stuff like that. And I felt bad for him because I was like, dude, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? But,
like we was talking about, you said simpleton,
Simp.
yes. Like what we was talking about earlier about toleration. Immediately, there should have been no discussion.
You should have just left. He got into an argument or altercation with
no,
the
there's
dude.
no argument has to see as you know what else men need to do? Respect themselves.
Walk away.
Respect and love yourself. If you truly love and respect yourself, you won't even tolerate being with a person that disrespects you like that because you respect yourself. And that's not arrogance. Like it's certain people, like, instead of being led by carnality, it's like, hold on, certain people you shouldn't even deal with just because in that way, just because of respect. Have some respect for yourself. Why would you put yourself in the danger physically? Why would you put yourself in the danger economically? Why would you put yourself in the danger, most importantly, with God by dealing with somebody in an inappropriate way? You might want to reconsider things. But if a woman disrespects you like that, if she's doing that, then that means that if you weren't there, what would she be doing with that? With the Caribbean mind? What would she be doing with him if he wasn't there?
She was laughing at her boyfriend when he was explaining all that, but I was like,
yeah, because she don't respect him and he don't respect himself.
Nah.
So if you don't respect yourself, nobody gonna necessarily respect you. She shouldn't even be talking like, oh, I like him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You have people talking, oh, he's so cute. You saying that in front of your husband, in front of you, it's like, wait a minute, what? What you say? That's disrespect. So yeah, he's what the brothers really said.
Yeah, that's what the accountability.
There's a lot of that going on. Yeah. And he's going, I don't know if that's real or not, what you're talking about. I don't know if they're doing that for views, I don't know. But if it is real, that's just going to continue. Yeah. So if she'll do that, what won't she do? Yeah. What has she done you don't know about? That's what you know about. And if she would do that in your face, then you know what I'm saying? What's she doing behind your back?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That sounds like type woman to sleep with somebody else and blame you for it.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't me.
It was your fault.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You made me cook.
Yeah, I saw that video too, Brother Austin.
It's crazy. I know it was crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah. But it goes back to we tolerate it. So at whatever level these things are happening on, it ultimately falls upon us. It falls upon us. Because certainly if he had walked away from her in terms of their relationship, because from what I understand, they were engaged and she had a ring on. If he had simply just, it's not even something that's worth discussing. It's totally not something that he should be dealing with. She certainly is not a virtuous woman. And that's what he should be aspiring to.
She was for the street.
But you see what's happening. He's not playing his position as a man, as Elijah, you always talk about. We need to be playing our position. We are out of position. So
yeah, it's crazy. He tried to fight the dude. I was like, bro, just walk away, man.
Right? What you fight? That's what I'm saying. What you fighting over? Then what if you get beat up? Your woman danced with somebody else. Now you got beat up. You'll never live that down. Just leave her where she at.
Yeah, she's a mess.
Anybody got anything else?
I was just gonna say, I know he pretty much said it already, Brother Wayman, but that same guy, he probably, let the woman do all that same stuff to him right there in front of everybody. So, I mean, he really can't.
In the
He
video,
really don't have much to say at all because he already wrong.
he was like, she ain't never looked at me like that. How she looked at that Caribbean dude. She never did any of those things that she did to him. I was like, bro, you say hell, fam. Why
When
you
he met her, she probably did that to him, and that's why he chose her.
tripping, man. Tripping.
He wasting his time.
Yes, he is.
He's wasting
guys
his
that
time.
choose women for reasons like that, man. That's terrible.
Brother Elisha.
Yes, sir.
When I think about all of this, right, it kind of just Deuteronomy 7 just keeps popping up, and Ezra 9 pop up. All these things, like, they kind of, to me, go hand in hand. That when I look at that situation, they were going into a land of people that was already populated. This land was populated with people. They were unrighteous people. And we were supposed to be holy and go into their land and still hold our godly standard. And we failed to do so. And we've joined affinity to what they were doing. And that's basically like when I look at what our sojourn, or where we are today in this diaspora, I'm like, okay, I feel like we went into a similar situation where we've left our land, came into another land with more or some of the same. I'm not saying they're the same Hittites and Girgashites, but they're doing the same things, and we're just joining ourselves with these people once again, like we never learned in the lesson. The lesson is these people are not serving God. And at that moment, we weren't serving God, but we were, sitting here following and linking up with these men, these women that are not of God. And we get into these marriages with them. And then we, the Lord show us who he is and we follow. But then we stuck with that baggage, especially the spiritual part is, especially for me personally, it's the hardest part to walk away from. You could walk away from all of it. It's easy to do. But the spiritual implications and, like the 1 Corinthians 7 and all those things, and it's a lot going on with divorce and dealing, like Brother Wayman said, it is the men's fault, because if we do see what is unrighteous while we touch it, but if we don't know what's unrighteous, therefore we're in the same boat as them. But yeah, Deuteronomy always come up, 7 always come to my mind. Like we're just in the land filled with people who are just unrighteous, and we just got to walk away. We got to know to walk away, though.
Yeah, and for those who may not know what the brother's talking about, Deuteronomy 7 and 1 Corinthians 7 and in the days of Ezra and Nehemiah, he's talking about how he's talking about being unequally yoked. In Deuteronomy 7, it talked about how the Lord told them, when you go into this land, do not make marriages with these people, for they'll turn you away from following your God, right? Paul, you see it in the days of Ezra and Nehemiah when the Yehudi or the Judeans or Judah was able to return to the land after Babylonian captivity, and they started dealing with these other gods. I mean, these women are these other gods. And then Paul talks about not being unequally yoked. So now I'm gonna combine what you're talking about with a question also that somebody said in the chat of YouTube. How can we get culture if we don't know the region and area we are from? I'm saying that your culture that's irrelevant in the sense that your culture should derive from Torah. It should derive from the word. And to what the brother Willie is is also talking about us being amongst these people. That word, what is it? Is truth, right? He says, sanctify them through thy truth. That's what Jesus said. Thy word is truth. Sanctification comes through us living according to the truth. We read in another place that his commandments are the truth. So we must sanctify ourselves and set ourselves apart from other people based on how we live according to the truth. That's how we do it, wherever we're at. Right here in this sojourn. Because if you think about it, how do you turn back to him if you don't do that wherever you're at? You acknowledge your sin, to him. You acknowledge what you've done and you start trying to walk right. That's what we need. And that's where sanctification comes from. So, but yeah, I understand what you're saying about this sojourn. We've adopted everything that's here. And the thing about that is that when we do that, other people suffer too. We suffer more. We suffer more. I keep talking about abortion. All these people getting abortion. You had 60 million abortions in America, roughly. We had over 20 million of them. You know what I mean? You got murder amongst all people. We suffer more from that. We suffer more inappropriate sexual relationships. Who's having more STDs? All these things, we suffer more for sin. The built-in consequences for sin. Not even before you get to the lake of fire, you got these built-in consequences for sin, and we suffer more. So yeah, brother, I understand what you're saying. Did anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I was gonna say that seeing everything that's going on right now, I ask myself, how did Memucan have so much wisdom that he knew what was gonna happen?
How did who?
Memucan and Esther.
Okay.
How did he understand? How he know what was in the women? If they would have let Vashti slide with what she had going on.
Common sense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's common sense, brother. If you could tell a king, I ain't coming. If you could say that, hold on. Let's real quick. If you could say that to that man, like I was talking about for whatever you said about Bill Gates, a boss of bosses. Real quick. I'm gonna read this just Esther 1 and verse 1. It said, now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus that this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even to Ethiopia, over 120 provinces. So you reigning over all these people from India to Ethiopia, right? They're subject to you, but your woman won't be subject to you. If your woman don't listen to you, why should I? Everybody always looking for an excuse not to obey authority or even acknowledge authority, because people are rebellious by nature. So if you can't listen to this man, like I was talking about, the stature of man that Bill Gates is on this planet, talking about you as equal. If Vashti talking about I ain't coming, I don't care if you agree with him or not. You supposed to hold that in. You supposed to go when he called. Why? Because that's your king. That's not just a husband. That's a husband and your king. So yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw something. I don't know where it was from. It was some quote that said, if you don't rule women, then women will rule you. I forgot where that was coming from, but I remember that. I was like, yeah, that's the truth.
And all this sounds very misogynistic. But if you look even at Genesis is showing you the contention that would be between men and women. It's showing you the contention that would be there, and the desire of position that a woman would want, and that your husband would rule over you. But yeah, it's about power dynamics. If you're not in your position, like the brother Whammy was saying, as far as being the head, if you're not in the head, it's like a classroom. It's just power dynamics. Even if you look at a classroom, as a teacher, if you don't, somebody gonna rule that class. Now, the teacher's supposed to rule the class. Now, let's say the teacher cannot function as a teacher and to discipline and to direct and instruct as he or she should. Who's gonna run that class? The students. And what are you going to have? Chaos. In our communities, who is heading these households? Women. And what do you have in these communities? Chaos. We started this forum off talking about what was going on where Brother Elbert is in that city. I'm a firm believer you would not have the crime amongst our young people if they had men in their lives. I'm talking about their fathers. If they had the heads in their homes, it wouldn't be. I've had conversations with mothers and no father there about their sons. And their sons, you know, telling them, hey, listen, your son's in the gang. Hey, your son is doing this. You don't know what you're talking about. All right. Where they at now? Well, Akon say locked up, they won't let me out. Ain't never getting out. Murderers. That's what I'm saying, man. So I don't know who that is. I'm thinking that's Wayman. Yeah, that's Wayman, because I just muted him. Is that you, Wayman? Now he muted. I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm not muted now, am I?
Huh?
Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now, but it was an echo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brother Mo had said something. He talked about Torah and talked about what we were given. And what came to mind was how at some point we will hear when we get into the kingdom an angel or a message that says when we turn the wrong way to do something wrong, that this is not the way. That's what we should be hearing if we understood Torah. And as we see things around us, we should be hearing, this is not the way. We should be involving ourselves with these people. This is not the way to achieve what you need to achieve as far as being obedient to the commandments. We are ignoring that. We are hearing it because people always say, you know, I saw signs. You know, I did see signs or something before I got that far involved with somebody, but they ignore it. So we are hearing those things, but we're ignoring it because we don't really understand it all in order to operate within those things. So it still comes back upon us, but we should be hearing all the time, this is not the way, because what's going on in the world is not the way all the time, all around us. And we're walking contrary to what everybody else is doing. So now we look like we out of step when everybody else is upside down and backwards, but we look upside down and backwards to them because of what we're doing, how we're walking. So we need to stay in line with the way. Say this is the way. We need to stay in line and understand which way we should be walking in every instance. And it's not always that easy because there's so much confusion around us. By the time we weed through all the confusion and things around us, we need a support system and somebody to help us through a lot of the mess, because sometimes we'll miss something, or sometimes we have not been on our reading and studying as we should. We get caught up in something that is our fault. So
yeah, it's a lot of static out here as far as what to hear. It's a lot of confusion. Everybody has a word. Everybody has something to say, even if they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I was about to say something. I forgot that quick. You said we should be hearing it. I'm assuming you're talking about hearing it from a preacher. You muted, brother. You're still muted.
Yeah.
Okay. Brother, you muted. Can you hear me? He's steady talking. You muted.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, go ahead.
I was saying that when I was saying that when we go through life and someone come up to us and say Merry Christmas, we go, no, that's not the way. Or come to church with me on Sunday, no, that's not the way. All these other things that we're talking about, we need to have that understanding to know that what they're doing and what they're saying is not the way. So we should be hearing that's not the way, and be doing what we should be doing as men, as and turning and going in the way that we should be going in. We don't go in the way that they going in. Mother's Day is coming up. We're not going in that position. I don't even keep up with these pagan holidays. I don't even know they come until all of a sudden something flash across my phone or somebody something I see something. Oh, I don't have anything to do with it. But we know, and I say within myself, no, that's not the way. I'm not doing that, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the store today. Oh, the lady was like to the cashier, "Happy Mother's Day if you're a mother." I'm not a mother. Well, Happy Mother's Day anyway. I'm like, what you talking about? They be worshiping their mamas on Sunday. They're gonna be worshiping their mothers. Father's Day, they're gonna get a tie.
You get the big piece of chicken.
Big piece of chicken. There's gonna be some woman worship on Sunday, boy.
Yeah.
Put Jesus on the back burner for today. We're gonna worship these mothers. I'm like all these illegitimate kids, but nevertheless,
Those are the ones that made it. You said illegitimate kids. I said, and those are the ones that made it.
Brother waving on fire.
It wasn't aborted.
I heard.
Yeah.
What about them? Yeah, it's gonna be some sitting there with the all white with the flowers on, and they killed 2 babies. Hey man, that's bogus. What I just said, that's reality. Well, I guess it ain't bogus, it's reality. Hey, this brother. Hold on, let me mute you. This brother, Nicodemus, said, "Brother Elisha, where can I find a virtuous woman? I've been looking all over Texas for one." Oh man, he be killing me when he be asking. Hey, brother, I just say observe, brother. I always say you want a woman that love God more than like just as much as you do. You want a woman that's gonna be on. If you lose your mind, say I'm not worshiping this God, you be like, well, you lost your mind. I'm gonna keep worshiping him, you know. So that just takes observation. She may not look like what you think she gonna look like, you know. But I can't say, brother. Texas is a big state. That's one of the biggest states in the union. That brother been looking high and low, near and far, all over Texas, from Houston to Dallas to San Antonio to Bryan, Texas. He all over. Hempstead, he all over Texas looking for a woman. Can't find one. That say something.
He might have to go to Mississippi.
What'd you say?
He may have to go to Mississippi.
What's in Mississippi?
Women.
Well, women everywhere.
He can't find one in Texas. He may have to go to another state.
Man, you're in Texas. He's big. Well, I don't know.
Man, they gonna have to pray. They gonna have to pray for the Lord to send them one.
That's the best thing he needed to do. That's the advice.
That's how I got mine, brother. Because I messed up at a young age and was so ashamed. I actually said, Lord, if you don't want me out there on these streets, send me somebody. Because I was doing all type of mess, you know. So if you pray, if he wants you off them streets and you sincere, I believe it. Like you say, when you're looking for the truth, he'll send you somebody to give you the truth. So that's the only reason I think I've been married this long. Because Lord put me with somebody. And the shocking thing was, I had my idea how I wanted the marriage to go, but I'm convinced the Lord tore it down and rebuilt it how he wanted it so it would last. Because I thought we was going to be this and that. And it worked out the best way, you know. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, he got, and Brother Elber got a good sister. She quality, straight up.
Yeah.
You could tell. So that she's a blessing. So if nobody else had anything, we can go ahead and shut it down.
All right.
So I got something else.
I gotta make it. Can I make a statement?
Yeah,
And
go
then
ahead.
ask a quick question. All right.
Go
Talking about the whole abortion thing. I mean, I was thinking about it. Why don't they? There's men who actually want to keep their kids when these women go and get these abortions. Why don't flip this thing and, you know, make women pay the man child support for 18 years after going and getting an abortion?
Wait, what?
Why don't they make the women who have abortions against the man's will pay the man? Pay the man every month.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's okay to make abortions
Right.
okay, but maybe it'll slow down some of the
What kind of
speed.
payment would this be? A
I don't know.
fine?
She could get a job
Based on her
if that's what
income.
she's doing.
Wait, no. But you said child support. The child has been destroyed.
Exactly, but he wanted to keep it.
So it's a fine. That's what I'm saying. What kind? It can't be child support. It's a fine.
Yeah, fining her for destroying a life after the male who would help make it wanted to keep it. So you're giving all the rights to the women, right?
All right. Why do you think they legalized abortion in the first place?
Kill you off.
Kill who off?
Black people.
Black people.
Like babies.
Less desirable people.
Mm.
The same thing when you look at Planned Parenthood, before abortion was legal, they were pushing birth control. They were pushing birth control because they were eugenicists who believed that certain people were inferior.
Mm-hmm.
The same type of thinking is the impetus for abortion. This is why even when you look at Western, particularly the United States, and them giving aid to other countries, that aid has been historically linked to them adopting abortion, birth control, homosexuality in countries and cultures that it was not acceptable. Why? Because their numbers are a threat. How are they a threat? The fewer people, the easier I can manipulate the situation.
Or destroy. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's all about destruction, but I can manipulate or destroy, but manipulate that particular place. And I'm gonna withhold aid unless you adopt my culture, unless you adopt what I'm giving you. Speaking of that in births, I saw that the study just came out showing that births in the United States are at a record low.
Mm-hmm.
Going right along with what's going on in Europe. So it's like below replacement level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right where they want it. All right. So the question now, in Israel, is there any custom of like contraceptives, like, you know, condom wearing, not using protection? I'm talking about from a biblical standpoint of not being intimate with your wife, but not to procreate per se.
Oh, excuse me. Some people say, you know, well, are you asking about contraceptive as far as it being a sin?
In a way, yeah. Like, or is it a gamble every time? It's like, hey, look, we're gonna do this, and if the baby come, baby come.
Well,
Or is there any?
Well, okay, so let's look at this. First of all, let's look at this scientifically. They're only certain, even if you, okay, this is something that's known in the world, you know, outside of the Western world. People who are, you can look at third world countries, and they understand that there are obviously, I mean, we should know that, but they actually ascribe to it more, and that's they understand what times a woman can be pregnant.
Yeah. Ovulating times and
You
all this
understand
stuff.
that? So some would look at the mandate that was given, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth, and say there's no contraceptives, right? Some would look at owning and say that was a sin, that they don't
Right.
understand. The intent of marriage is to bring forth children. Okay. But you cannot say that it is a sin if you don't have children. You know what I'm saying? The question you want to ask yourself is, why are you doing that? I think you should ask yourself the question, why are you doing that? Why don't you have children? Why don't you want to have children? And maybe that's a
What if it's a relationship between, you know, husband and wife who have multiple children, and they say, okay, we're done. Like, how do they move forward in that, from that aspect?
Again, that's like I said, it's people, you understand there's only certain times when a woman can be pregnant. And it's only a few days out the month.
Stay away from them days, huh?
I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying it could be looked at that way. Because if it's not as if every encounter is obviously is going. If that were the case, you'd be walking around with a million babies. That ain't what's happening. So, but yeah, and if you had children, you know, but I'm speaking mainly if you don't want children, you know, it's like, well, why not? You know, what's the reason for that? But yeah, people will look at this at the scripture and say you can't, but you can't truly substantiate that. I think a deeper question is, why don't I want them? You know, if you had children and you say, hey, I can't support any other children, well, can you? I don't know. That's one thing. But again, there's only certain times when a woman can be pregnant. And there's a science behind that. Her, you know, ovulating, things like that. Her saliva is different. It's you look at the body, certain things are happening in the body, and it's only a few days out the month. So
thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything? Nothing else? All right. Let me say that Joseph, I don't put your business out there, but Joseph getting baptized. He's gonna get baptized in the Sabbath. So
oh, praise the Most High, brother.
Hey, I wanted to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Hello?
You listening? We listening. Go ahead.
Yeah. What I thought about was some of the things you were saying. Ultimately, what happens, what comes down to our responsibility as men, we need to be more responsible with our seed.
100%.
100%. And we haven't been doing that. We've been putting our seeds in prophylactics. And look what happened when, who was that was that Judah's son who did not allow himself to let his seed fall to the ground.
But let's deal with that real quick. I mentioned that.
You did mention that? Okay.
I did mention that. Yes. But let's deal with that real quick. Because the problem, because some people will say, well, that's talking about masturbation. That's not talking about that. You know, his thing was, if you look at it, you see, and I talked about Torah, even before Torah was officially given, you had Torah. Noah was operating according to Torah. Okay, so you see that the law has always been. Now I want to read this. I'm in Genesis, the 38th chapter. And it says, in verse 1, and it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adulamite whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua, and he took her and went in unto her. Side note, where were they getting their wives from? They were getting them from those Hamitic nations that were around there. That's a side note. Nevertheless, it said, and she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Shelah. And he was the Kazib where she bare him. He was at Kazib. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. So the Lord killed him. Then it says something, and Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his, and it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground, lest he should give seed unto his brother. And this thing displeased the Lord, and it says, wherefore he slew him also. So he killed him also. But the issue was, now you're right when you say you need to be conscious of who your seed is in. And that goes along with, even people don't realize, that go along with brothers don't realize, that go along with loving yourself. Every woman's not worthy of your seed. This is real talk. But now what he was violating was actually Deuteronomy 25 and 5, when it says, if brethren dwell together and one of them die and have no child, which was the case there, the wife of the dead shall not marry without or outside unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her. We're talking about culture earlier. This is called the Levirate law. This is common in the Eastern world. It was common in the Eastern world. If a man left a widow, his brother without children, his brother would take her as his wife. That was a common thing. It's the duty of brothers. That's what's going on in the book of Ruth. Okay, the near kinsman that would take that woman. Okay, so now in that kind of system, in that kind of culture, what happens? The name of that brother and a brother that's deceased is not blotted out from Israel. Also, in addition, that woman is taken care of as well and is covered. The system that the Lord put up or has in place as far as marriage, culturally, I say to have a woman covered from the time she's born from her father to the time that she enters into her husband's house, and she's under his covering. That's what that was actually there. And that was, you saw that before the law, you saw that before Moses was on the scene, before, you have Torah actually written in stone or written down, but it was already there. So that's what's happening there. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I was actually going to say that earlier, as far as man's seed, because you think about it, you have life inside of you. And so you have the potential to bring forth life. You shouldn't be laying with anybody that's not your wife. You shouldn't be laying with anybody that you don't want to have your children. You got to think about it. You think about carnality. We understand that desire is in. That desire is in us so that we would continue the human species. It was embedded within us. God put it there. He also showed us how to appropriately behave with that desire. And that's the problem. We're not doing that. So you end up in a situation with, number one, illegitimacy. See, that's one thing, I've been thinking about lately and doing some research with something I'm writing, is that, illegitimacy, we have lost the reason as to why you should not have illegitimate children. We have lost, see, this knowledge that we had and this wisdom and understanding in putting a stigma upon that has been taken away. So now you got baby showers for illegitimate children. Now, it's not the child's fault, but this is not a celebration. How are we celebrating? Where your husband at? You see what I'm saying? So we've lost the importance of legitimacy. We've lost the importance of marriage, the institution. This world, particularly the Western world, is gone away backward. I tried to watch something that came to my attention. I couldn't even watch it. I can't even watch this. Sometimes I watch the news, you know, see what's going on in the world. Bruce, his mama named him Bruce. I'm gonna call him Bruce. Bruce is about to run for governor, and he's sitting down. He's sitting down. I'm about to tell y'all up in this chat. He's sitting down and with Hannity, like everything is normal. Now, somebody got something to say. Who is this? I don't know who this is. Barry. I'm assuming this is see, somebody triggered. Again, y'all. It's one thing I'ma deal with you in the chat. It's a term, illegitimate kids, such a white European term. You got the mad face. Praying for y'all because there are single godly women waiting for a man that shines the light of a height. These vaccines use the DNA from a boy. I don't know. Stop. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, you shouldn't be having illegitimate kids. You have kids with your husband. Talking about illegitimate. It's illegitimacy all over the Bible. Now you writing in English talking about illegitimate kids as a European term when you're using European words. As I said earlier, let me help you out. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Don't waste it. Before you type, you should think. You see that all over the Bible. You see that all over the Bible. You see inheritance. That's to a specific child. See, things with God is in order. With Negroes, anything go. With man, anything go. But with God, things are in order. The order is man, woman, child. You're supposed to be married and you have your kids. You praying for a godly, you said us praying for y'all because there are single godly women waiting for a man that shines like a hot. But what was the godliness when you was having them kids? See, you don't want to talk about that. See, you triggered because that's our situation. We shouldn't be tolerating that. That's the problem now. I'm praying for y'all. You better pray for yourself. Like I'm the problem because I'm telling you it's a problem. Yeah, that's a huge problem in our people today. We got almost an 80% out of wedlock birth rate. We ought to be ashamed of ourselves. We ought to be ashamed of ourselves. And had you, I'm not saying you, but any woman that did that, maybe, and now you praying, hoping somebody come, maybe if you hadn't done that, you'd be married and not had these problems. Because quite frankly, I'm not looking for you, but I'm saying I certainly wouldn't be looking for you if you got a bunch of illegitimate kids. That says something about your character. When you really, like I said, we've lost wisdom. That's what I'm saying. People just talking. Sometimes you know what the thing to do is? Shut up. Because you don't know what you're talking about. That's our problem now. That's our problem now. We go for any and everything. You go pray for us and you talking about illegitimate kids is okay? That you can just lay with men? Don't you know that biologically you were made for one man? Don't you know that? You made for one man. You ain't made for all these men to be running through you. And then you want somebody to take care of your illegitimate kids? Does that make any sense? Let me help you out. No. Y'all can play with me. Y'all can. Oh, you already, it got deleted. Okay. Well, let me help you. Let me block you from the page too. Show you what that block game is about. Listen. Listen. See, these other men maybe can massage you and make you feel good in your sin. I'm not the one. You should at least feel ashamed about what you did. You should at least, like the brother Wayman said, man, I'm the problem. You want somebody else to be accountable. How about you are not even in a position, man, let's talk about it. Since you brought it up, the truth be told, you're not even in a position to be a wife. You're not in a position to be a wife. Don't you know there's certain things you can do in your life that disqualify you? I was listening to this man he with a woman, she got 5 kids by 5 different men. Why in the hell would you be with her? I'm dead serious, man. We going for stuff that we shouldn't go for. You ought to be ashamed. Listen, and the child has done nothing. But when we the problem, we got to acknowledge that we the problem. Like, for example, this is not the case, but if I was running around here having all these kids that by all these women that I wasn't taking care of, then what I'm supposed to, I'm gonna pray somebody take care of them kids. What? I'm the problem if I'm doing that. Why can't you just acknowledge that you're the problem? Why can't you listen? We're talking about what should be the standard should be. You need to be a virgin before you marry. The hell you, man, what you doing? You know, like when all these men had all these kids, got STDs, abortion, and then I'm praying for somebody to clean this up. I'm not no custodian. I'm not no janitor. I'm not no custodian. I'm not no trash man either. Real talk, man. Hey, look, we need to hold a high standard. I'm praying for y'all. What? You put something else stupid in the chat, you're gonna get it. If I see it. Y'all better type like you got some sense. Shoot, people that made mistakes in their life, but you can't say it ain't a mistake. You can't say it ain't a mistake. We done all made mistakes. I'm gonna sit here, all the mistakes I'm praying for you because you said I made a mistake. See, you triggered. That's your problem. And society tells you, see, they done took the stigma away from that. Even when I went to high school, a girl got pregnant. You know what happened? They made that girl leave the school.
Yep.
They said, you cannot walk around this school pregnant. Now, I remember the girl came back after she had the baby. She tried to act like wasn't nothing going on. Now, I didn't say nothing, but one girl said, she said, where you been? She said, oh, I had the flu. She said, yeah, that baby flew up out you. That's what she said to her face. And she didn't say it as nicely as I just said it just now. I edited that. But now we not supposed, the girl was 14. So now we're not supposed to be ashamed. I was in you know, a girl got pregnant in my elementary. So now we're not supposed to be ashamed because people having illicit sex and having illegitimate, because we speak in English. That's a white term. Boy, I tell you, boy. I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth. What's wrong with y'all? Ain't nobody told you the truth. And maybe if you had a little bit of shame, maybe you be in a mental position to be a wife. But if you can't even acknowledge the mistakes that you made in the past, if you can't acknowledge that laying down with these men make me even unworthy to have a man, maybe you have one. But ain't no wise man gonna look at you with all these baby daddies and marry you. Not a wise one. Don't disqualify yourself. Don't you, man, if this, and then people want to throw the word and then God, and if this was back in the day, what would happen to you? Where are the rocks? And now you're gonna pray for me. They'd be busting you upside the head back in the day. I'm about to eat, man. Y'all.
Yeah,
maybe because I've been eating less. Maybe that's made me a little bit more angry. Maybe I'm a little too angry. No, I'm gonna still be like that.
I hear some roaring. I hear some roaring going on. I don't know if that's your stomach or you.
For real, man. That ain't help. That's not. That's not helpful.
No,
That's not helpful for us to just accept that sin.
Right.
No.
that encourage somebody else to make the same mistake. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wrong is wrong.
Yeah, and that's when sin, when shame is taken off the table, ain't nobody shamed. No, you need shame is good. That's why I'm hungry right now. I'm sure I said, man, I need to lose a few pounds. But I'm gonna sit here. It's somebody else's fault.
I think I mentioned that when you was on the ladder.
Now here he go.
I'm just shaming you, man. It's just good, right? Yes.
He gonna make me get on my treadmill tonight. Thanks, Wayne. Thanks.
No, man, you're okay. You're gonna do fine. Because the real issue is in your head, and that's once you make that change, your body's gonna follow. So you're doing okay. You're making a change in the way that you think, and with that, it's gonna reflect in the way that you look.
Well water.
Yeah. So let every man be swift to hear. Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath.
Now wait a minute, what that got to do with what we talking
about? I don't want you to get mad about me talking about you on that ladder.
Oh, I ain't gonna get mad. I'm not triggered. I'm not triggered. Nah, but people gonna be thinking like, man, how big is this brother?
It has a lot to do because everything you just said, it needs to be heard, and people need to be swift to hear the things you've been saying and what you just said. And I'm sure the person you were just talking to did not do that because they were probably still angry in their wrath and wasn't hearing half of what you were telling them.
Yeah. I ain't telling them but the truth.
I know.
That's the problem.
Yeah, we need more of that in the world. That's the problem now.
Yeah, that's like I say, people they get triggered. How dare you say I need to lose 50 pounds? Man, look, man, your doctor will tell you that. Hey man, you gotta do something about your blood pressure. Hey man, you don't want to be a diabetic. Hey man, you want to lose a few pounds. Hey man, you want to, you got to get up off your mama couch, man. Do something. And that's just in life in general. Now it's like you're fat shaming. Now you're doing this, you're doing that. Now it's like, come on, man. You done had all these illegitimate kids. You're supposed to act like everything is okay. Because these kids gonna grow up and rob me one day. That's what we ain't talking about.
Yeah.
Look, the institution of marriage was to bring forth children. That's what legitimates lineage, inheritance. etc. That's just like even, man, people don't understand. We were talking about seed. Like even when people commit adultery, don't you know that's commingling seed? But now we got adultery websites where married people can go on there. You're a woman want to sleep with another man, or you whatever. You can go and find them on this website, bruh. They ain't be wondering why the Lord coming back in flaming fire. Man, why he so angry? Why you talking about anger? He the one angry. I ain't got no lake of fire to put you in. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you what time it is. Hey man, this is what the word is saying. You need to change. That's the white man's word. Using all white man's words, saying that's the white man's words. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Anybody else got anything? We good? Hey.
Go eat, bro.
Yeah. Peace to the brother. Lord willing, I'll see y'all tomorrow evening.